We're good. Ready? 3, 2, 1. All right. Welcome back to Lady on the Street podcast. I'm your host, Priscilla, and I am again so excited for this next guest. Scott, thank you so much for coming. I'm going to read the intro I wrote for you really quickly, okay?
Okay, cool.
All right, so today's guest is someone who, if you grew up in San Antonio, you probably know who he is. He spent years as a club promoter here in SA, and that goes all the way back to the earliest club days with high school parties at Graham Central Station to events at every lounge in between downtown and Stone Oak. While he now spends his time promoting less nightlife and more of his real estate business, Malouff International Group, this man still knows how to throw a damn party. Scott, again, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. That was a good intro.
Yeah?
I appreciate that one. That was a good one. All the way back.
I feel like it's like it's not even, it's just a little bit of your life, but I think that's what everybody knows you from.
Yeah, they know me from either the nightlife or from real estate. So those are two of my seasons that have been very rewarding for myself. Yeah.
Yeah. Will you put this a little closer to you?
Yeah.
If you could, I think if you scoot that way a little, it'll be closer to you.
All right, cool.
That way I could hear you a little better.
Perfect.
All right. So it's Friday night tonight.
Yep.
Thanks for coming. But what are you normally doing on a Friday night?
Usually I'm actually at home. I don't go out as much as I used to. Yet tonight I am stepping out. So I guess there's special occasions is what I go out for now. Yeah, Friday I enjoy it because Saturday I don't have to wake up as early as I do during the week. So it's Friday night I usually like to stay home.
Yeah.
Now I do.
So now you're pre-gaming just a little bit.
I am pre-gaming tonight. So you made me an old fashioned. It's gonna be my pre-game.
Why do you like an old fashioned?
I just like so again, we were talking about George's Keep when I first went there too. It's one of my first old fashions, and then over time, when I go to craft bars, it's usually the one that I order. It's smooth usually, so it's good, and I can have a couple of them still.
Yeah,
still be good to go.
Yeah.
That
was the first time I had one as well at George's Keep, and as a beer wine girl, I was like, oh, this is so strong, and I can tell you that you're the third person to ask me to make one of these. And so I have the same drink every time. It's growing on me, but it's still I added a little extra simple syrup to mine, so it's a little sweeter.
What's crazy is when I used to promote, I would never drink like craft drinks or anything. When we were at the bar and at the club, it would just be either shots or something like basic. It was never like, oh, make me this. It was never like that.
Or it was like a Starfucker, probably.
Yeah, Vegas bombs or just basic things.
Basic,
it's completely different now.
Can't be ordering those sugary drinks anymore. They really they don't mix well.
The next day, yeah.
Made
like we used to be.
Well, he said normally he likes them when they're made well. So if he makes some faces, that's because I'm not a bartender.
We're gonna be all right. We're gonna make it through.
All right. So you said a typical Friday night, you're usually at home. That's hard to believe because, like, from what we all know you as, you're just like, on the go all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I still go to a lot of events or Spurs games or something on a Friday. Yet if I could stay home, I am happy now. I prefer to do it. Wake up early on a Saturday and move around. Yeah, there's still a lot of I feel like it's somebody's birthday every other weekend too, though. So there is a lot of things that they push me out for.
Yeah. Well, so everybody kind of knows you as like the friend of a friend of a friend. Like I mentioned, everybody knows who Scott is, right? This goes back to like MySpace, I think. That's kind of how we all first connected. And
yeah, MySpace days. And yeah, that was the high school parties, and we were throwing them heavy back then too. And then started doing 18 and up parties and 21 and up parties and concerts, and yeah,
it really just elevated from there. But take me back a little bit. Are you actually from San Antonio?
Pretty much. Since I was 8 years old, I've been here. So this is what I claim as my home. And then, so when we moved here, my mom was in the Air Force. So she ended up getting stationed here. Then she got out of the Air Force. And when she got out of the Air Force, we stayed here. So that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah. So this is home for you.
This is home. This is what I claim.
In true San Antonio spirit, I got to ask, what high school did you go to?
I went to a lot of high schools.
Really?
Well, 3 actually. I went to Clemens, Lutheran, and Marshall. I graduated from Marshall.
From Marshall.
Yeah.
All right. What year? What class?
2004.
2004. Okay. I'm 07, so we're not that far apart.
Yeah, not that far.
Yeah. Okay, so interesting. You said you moved here when you were 8. Where were you at before?
We were in Aurora, Colorado.
Ah.
So we're in Aurora, and before that, I was born at Hahn Air Force Base in Germany.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow. Quite the life here.
yeah.
Yeah. What do you like about San Antonio?
The culture,
Yeah.
of the city, the people. I like pretty much everything about it. Spurs, love the Spurs.
Yeah.
Um, I enjoyed the culture of the people because it's really it's different than Austin. It's different than Houston, Dallas. When you think of Texas, like a lot of people like Austin more, but I've always been San Antonio to the end. So
Do you think you'll stay here, or do you ever think about moving elsewhere?
no, I'll stay here. I might buy a vacation home or something somewhere else. But yeah, it's gonna be here. I'll be here. If I buy a vacation home somewhere else, though, it's probably gonna be in a different country, not the
Ah,
United States.
you have your eyes set on anywhere?
So I'm Lebanese, so maybe in Lebanon, or maybe in Mexico because I enjoy going to Mexico too.
Okay.
I actually enjoy Amsterdam too. I don't smoke, but I just enjoy.
Just to clarify.
Yeah, just to clarify that. Yet, when I went there, it was kind of real quiet, peaceful. Felt like the world was stopping, so it was a good little kind of the recharge types of place.
So Amsterdam, Mexico, or Lebanon.
Yeah.
When's the last time you visited each one?
I went to Lebanon and Mexico this last year. Amsterdam was in 2018.
Do you have a favorite out of the 3?
Probably Lebanon, just because of because that's my culture,
Right.
and my heritage. So being able to visit it and kind of just go back to your roots is something that's pretty cool.
That's cool. I think I saw some of your posts when you were over there.
Yeah, I was there for a wedding. That wedding was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a lot of family over there?
I do. They're not first cousins or they're not
Yeah.
even second cousins. They're like third cousins. They're like you're intruding kind of. They're actually not. They're very welcoming. Yet it's kind of I felt intruding because I'm like, hey, I'm the cousin of my grandpa. Like trying to explain to them how I'm related to them, and they're like, oh, okay, and then yeah.
Welcome. You're like I came all the way from Texas.
Yeah. I'm like Texas. I'm like yeah. And then my name doesn't help either because my name is Scott, and then in Arabic the name Scoot means like shut up. So when I'm there, they're like Scoot. I'm like yeah, Scott, and it's like it doesn't help too much.
It doesn't work out.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
You're almost like insulting them when you're just introducing yourself.
They're laughing at it. They start taking shots like Scoots. And I'm like, man, they tell me to shut up. But they like really give it a shot. Like, I don't know if they're happy I'm here. They just think it's a joke.
As if they say it back to back, Scoot, Scoot, then they're saying Scott, shut up.
Yeah, Scott, shut up. Yeah.
That's really funny. Okay, so you grew up here basically. You graduated from Marshall. How did you end up getting into like nightlife, club promoting?
So I started going to teen parties when I was like 13, and we used to show up. It was me and my boy Jason. We'd be one of the first ones there because it'd be like the first 50 people getting free. And when we started going, I met the promoter. The promoters at that time was A&H, Abe and Hannah, and we would get to meet them. And they came up to us and they're like, "Hey, you ever thought about being a promoter? Like you'll get VIP, you cut the line." I'm like, well, I mean, that'd be cool because we ain't got to get here at 5:30 in the afternoon. We can get here actually at 7 when it starts, and then walk past the line like we were somebody. So we were only 13 for that.
Yeah.
So we did that, promoted, started showing up about 10, 15 people deep, and then Abe asked me, he's like, "Hey, do you want to get paid for this?" And I'm like, "Well, what would that look like?" And he's like, "Well, I'm gonna pick you up from your school, and I'm gonna take you to every other high school in the city." And you're gonna act like you go to school there at lunch, and you're gonna just pass out flyers. I'm like, so I get paid just go to these other schools, act like I go there, pass out flyers. He's like, yeah, when you're there, look for like the freestyle circles or people that are kind of popular at that school, and get like befriend them. And so again, this is early days, so MySpace was barely out. Things were it was different. So I would go to these high schools, meet people, kind of see who was popular at these schools. And then I would have lunch there at times. Like I'd be going through the lunch lines at school. Like I was really good. Everyone always like, "Oh, you went to school with me." I'm like, I just go along with it.
That's hilarious.
Because I was really inside almost everybody's schools. So I did that till I was 18. And when I was 18, I started doing 18 and up parties too. And so Club Anthro, I kicked off a night there. We brought Pitbull down. And so back then, Pitbull was only 12,500. Now he's $500,000. And that
Yeah.
was the first concert I threw. The owner from Montreal invested in me in that concert. And then at Planeta, I was doing concerts
Oh, I
there and
forgot
nights there
about.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, at Planeta. So I was doing them. I was at UTSA at the time. And then I was doing a night at Soleil, Pure, Metropolis. So I just started doing different clubs till I was 21. And then I continued doing them downtown, Sway, Zen Bar. So I pretty much like you were saying, from anywhere from Stone Oak all the way to 1604 to downtown, even on the north side, I was doing about 3 to 4 parties a week. I had Bar 11 going on. And then Abe and Hannock left.
Bar 11.
Yeah,
I
Bar 11.
can't we all remember Bar 11, right?
Yeah, that was those were fun. And then Abe and Hannock left, so I started doing the team parties. Yeah, when I started doing the team parties, um, I met a kid named AJ Hearns, and he was just a dancer back then. And you know, he became one of the promoters that were promoting for me when I was doing the team parties, and we started talking about him doing music. So got him to start doing music and got him a vocal lessons and everything on that end. Got him. He had a couple songs that went locally pretty big when I was managing them, like Snapback Swag and some things like that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then I got him on tour with Lil Wayne. I started managing Lil Wayne's DJ too. So I was managing Lil Wayne's DJ, and then I would have AJ perform at the after parties for when Wayne's DJ would do the after parties on the tour.
Yeah.
And then Wayne's manager was at the after parties and asked, like, "Is that your artist?" And that's how I made friends with. I was already friends kind of with him. It was Cortez Bryant, and then he let AJ open for Wayne on that tour, and then Tez started managing Drake, and then he let AJ open for Drake on 3 tours as well. So we did that run, and then with AJ, we were doing CD releases, and I would get sponsors for it. So I had in the mall at Ingram, it was called Shoe Magic, Shoe MGK, and
I forgot you did that too.
yeah. So they had that going on one of the malls, and I became an investor, and I ended up opening 17 of those. So I opened 17 Shoe Magics around the city and the country, actually around the country. So I had them here in Laredo, McAllen, Cleveland, and North Carolina. And then I started selling them after I was doing it for about 3 or 4 years, and I sold them. And then from there I got into real estate. So the nightlife just wasn't really for me anymore. I look at life as seasons, and it just wasn't a season no more. One of the parties I was doing, so I would always get a call the next day, such and such got a DWI, or this person fought this person, and I'm like, damn. I was like, I got a party tonight, and I know both of them gonna pull up.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I gotta squash this before 10 p.m. before they start showing up. So it just was a lot of things. And then at one of my events, one dude got killed by another dude that I knew, and I was like, yeah, this probably ain't it no more.
Yeah.
So I had just made that transition to real estate. One of my other boys, Jose, was getting in. So I was like, you know what, I'll just go ahead and take my classes with you. And then I just put a date on my last like weekly party I was doing, and just went full real estate.
Yeah.
Grew from there.
Well, it seems like you're doing really well in real estate, but that savviness, that background obviously doesn't come from nowhere. Like you've networked pretty much since you were 13, you said, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, before 13, I worked at a bowling alley setting up pins. They had these 9-pin bowling alleys. I used to do that younger, and then candy sales. I'd always hustle at that just to get this stuff in the magazine. But yeah, I guess it's been since I was 13. I've been kind of building a reputation.
Yeah.
To where we are today.
So you mentioned that you were at UTSA for a minute. Did you finish school there, or?
No, I didn't finish. So I went to UTSA, then went to SAC, then went back to UTSA, and I was there long enough to get a degree, yet I didn't get a degree.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was I guess more promoting and networking than I was.
It's okay though. I mean, I feel like as much of an advocate as I am for it, it's not always for everyone, and in your case, it really doesn't matter that you didn't get it.
Yeah, it was still cool there. I was a part of the campus activity board, and I was in charge of entertainment. So I brought a comedian there, and I brought David Banner there to perform at the school. So there was things that I did there that were pretty kind of went hand in hand in what I was doing outside of school.
That's cool. What's your favorite memory? Do you have a favorite memory from all that time that you did club promoting?
Probably being on tour with Drake and Lil Wayne, because we would go city to city, and we weren't on the tour bus, so we were like, we had a van and we were just going and we were just moving, and we weren't getting paid for it. It was all coming out of pocket from other things that I was doing. Yet it was an adventure.
Yeah.
And these relationships, we built like a family. The promoters that were promoting with me, we were all very close, and they're still family to me as well. Even though I don't talk to them every day, there's still a relationship there that we grew together.
Yeah. Do you remember what year that was?
With Drake, that was 2011, 12, and 13, around that time. 14, probably around that time.
So fairly early in his kind of career, right?
Yeah, we met Drake. So Wayne was here in 2008, and we was already with 4 or 5 doing his after parties, and we were bowling with Drake before I even knew who Drake was.
Yeah,
and I did a party at Encore for the Lil Wayne after party, and we had Lil Wayne after party with his DJ with Young Money. Drake was at the club. We didn't even promote it as Drake. We just promoted Young Money after party because I didn't even know we didn't know who he was. I was just like, we're just gonna say Young Money because nobody know who these artists was. And now it's like crazy.
He was Aubrey from Degrassi still.
Pretty much, yeah. I didn't even watch TV like that.
Yeah.
So I didn't even know what Degrassi was.
Yeah. So. I mean, I feel like you probably have so many different stories from all of those times. I guess talk to me a little bit about, so we went through the whole club promoter, you told me some of the crazy things that happened, and you hit that turning point. Was it relatively easy for you to break into real estate, like because you had kind of all that knowledge of networking and socializing, I guess?
I thought it was going to be. So I thought because when I got into real estate that everyone's going to be like, oh, Scott's in real estate now, I'm going to buy a house from him. That's not how it worked out.
No.
It took time. Yeah. I had to rebrand myself. So when I got in, I was like, okay, I'm going to start taking these classes, educate myself. And I was like, I'm putting all that nightlife. I didn't go out for probably about 1.5 years. And so I just stayed focused and stayed like educating myself on YouTube videos, watching different YouTube videos, understanding the craft and what for sale by own, how it is when you call for sale by owners, what it is when like an expired listing, that's when a home that's been on the market comes off. Like, how do you call these people? How do you kind of present your value proposition and how you're going to get them to the finish line? So that first year, I ended up selling. I went in as an individual agent straight to Keller Williams, and I sold 85 properties my first year. Mm-hmm. And then second year is when I started my team, brought on my assistant, who's now my director of operations. I brought on Jevic as a buyer's agent and Janet as a buyer's agent. And that year was when we grew the team.
Okay, so what year was that?
That was in 2017 is when we started the team. 2016 was my rookie year.
Okay, 2017, 2016. So it's been quite a while. And you got your start, I guess, before you started really making it. We hit the pandemic then, right?
We were already moving it. Yeah. I got my start before the pandemic.
Oh, okay, before. Okay. Well, yeah, but I mean, like, did you have a big list of clients already before the pandemic, or?
Once the pandemic hit, we were already a little more established because my first year was 2016.
Yeah, so
pandemic came like 2019,
3-4 years later.
Yeah, so by then we were already doing 300-400 transactions a year.
Okay, so you mentioned you started bringing, Janet was the first person you brought on?
Jevic was the first agent.
Okay.
Victoria was my first hire. So Victoria came on as my director of my assistant. Now she's my director of operations. And then Jevic came on as a buyer's agent. And then Janet came on later that year. So
3 of them. But your team has grown fairly large now.
Yeah, now we have 35 people.
35. Could you name them all?
I could if I was looking at something. I would miss somebody right now and upset somebody if I did.
Yeah, no, I won't put you on the spot.
Yeah, take a little time.
That's funny. Okay, so what motivates you then not just in real estate, but I guess in life, to kind of just keep on pumping to the next venture?
Yeah, so I know where I've been, I know where I'm going, and I know where I never want to be again. So, just understanding how I was able to get where I am, and then just dark places maybe in the past, and I'm like, I can't be back in that position again. And then just seeing other people and where they're at in life, and just seeing that they have that gift, and how can I help them get out of where they're at to be able to move to their next season of life so they can utilize the gift for the right purposes. And that inspires me, that pushes me. And then when they win, that's a win on my side too. Even if it's not, even if I don't get a financial gain from it, just seeing somebody move from one place to another is a win to myself. I enjoy that.
Yeah, that's really good. So being able to help people, right? Um, what's your favorite thing about real estate aside from helping people? I mean, do you have a favorite sell that you've made or
So there's the thing in our industry called wholesalers, and I'm not a fan of wholesalers. I've said it a lot of times. So wholesalers, they'll knock on your door and they say, I do a lot of business downtown, and so they'll knock on your door and they'll offer you, say, okay, we're going to give you $100,000 cash for your property today. And what they do is they get it on a contract, and within that time from they're under contract to when they close, they get a back end buyer that buys that property. So they'll go and say, get that under contract for 100, get it under contract for 150, and they'll make that $50,000 in between. And I'm not a fan of them because if somebody was to knock on my grandma's door and say, hey, I'm gonna give you $100,000 for your house today, she's not educated, doesn't know what's going on in the market, and then says, you know what, 100,000 cash, I bought it for 30,000. She signs the contract, and then they go and make that money. That should have been money that was my grandmother's money.
yeah.
So being able to help people actually net what they should be netting and not get taken advantage of has been something that I enjoy, and I've seen happen time after time where they're like, there's no way you can give me that much money for this house, and then we go ahead and do it. And there's been a lot of times where people are living check to check, and then we're able to get them a new home, paid cash, and they're putting six figures in their bank. And when that happens, and they're at this closing table and they're crying, that's really what I enjoy. And
Yeah.
that's when it's like it's not about the money. It's about being able to help serve somebody to be able to make the right decisions so they can move on with the next season, and not take advantage of people like certain wholesalers do. Not all wholesalers do that. There is situations sometimes where they do need a fast cash deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yet there is a lot of them in that industry that is not. I think it should be illegal. So
It should be, and it's weird that it's not because it seems
yeah.
like that's such an easy scam. People are always targeting the elderly, so
Mm-hmm.
like, and the way that you put it into perspective, if it were your grandmother, you wouldn't want anyone to be doing that to her. But I guess this is kind of the first time that I'm hearing people are doing this. How long do you know? Has this always been a thing?
Since I've been in the business, it has been. It's a lot bigger now than it was back then because now a lot of people on YouTube and there's videos of it, and
Mm,
there's just a lot of education on how to do it. And when I first got in, it wasn't as, I guess, broadcasted as it is now. Now it's cool to be a wholesaler in certain places, and I'm not a fan of it.
it seems real shady. It's like when people, like all over TikTok, they'll show you how to scam different stores, and it's weird,
Yeah,
you know?
there's a couple of businesses like that. Like, I'm not even a fan of like solar. Because solar panels, like
Yeah.
if you're not going to be in that property for 10 plus years, it's not really a good investment.
Mm-mm.
And then people get stuck and they're upside down on the property. And then I'm like, how much you pay? They're like, we paid 60,000 for this. I'm like, 60,000 for these solar panels? I'm
Yeah.
like, damn. And then there's situations where people go through divorces and they can't even sell their home because of the solar panels. And there's a lot of hustles out there that the sales guys make a lot of money. Yeah, in the long run, the consumer could be hurt.
Yeah, no, that is crazy. We had somebody at our last house come by to try to get us to do solar panels. And I remember when my husband started doing the math, he's like, this doesn't make sense for us in the house, the size of house that we were in at the time.
Yeah,
Um, but I could see how they're so convincing, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
they make it sound good. Yes.
There should be more, I guess, education out there for people to educate, I guess, people that are new coming into the industry, what to look out for, how to advise their clients. Is that something that you help teach your new agents?
Yeah, we're very transparent on everything that we do. We do a 45-day training when they first start with our team, and then we have a 30, 60, 90. So they're on a 90-day probation when they join our organization. And through that process, we're educating them on different things like we just spoke about, as well as different things in the contract and different ways to be able to serve their client at a high level. And then so I have four virtual assistants that take care of the compliance side. So we're always looking over the paperwork, and so they're not the only ones just writing the contracts and just submitting it. It's going through my compliance side to be able to make sure, like, question this or question that, and we talk through Slack. So I see everything on every contract through Slack, and if there's anything questionable, I'll be able to stop it before it happens. So
Yeah.
it's good.
Well, that's good. I like to hear that you're so heavily involved. I guess this is big question, right? Like, what do you think would have to happen to start cracking down on some of these scammers that are out there?
I mean, it has to be a law that's probably passed. Either that or by NAR, but I don't know if it'll be passed soon. But I do think that eventually there will be something that comes out where that needs to be some type of misdemeanor or something. It will happen in time.
Yeah, if enough people raise hell about it, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so crazy. So the funny thing is that you switched into real estate, but like I said, you still know how to throw a party. So every time I see you on social, you always have some kind of thing going on. Most recently, your big Christmas party.
Yeah.
What goes into planning something like that?
There's a lot of moving parts. So I like to do different R&B artists because it's Christmas, and I like to keep that kind of theme with it.
Mm-hmm.
So this last year we had Mario. Year before we had Bobby Valentino. Year before we had 112. I like the 90s R&B type vibe.
Mm-hmm.
We have a casino night, so we bring around 28 different casino tables from roulette, craps, blackjack, poker. So we have those. We give away trips. We give away a trip to Vegas. We give away TVs, and then different gift certificates or free things from different businesses that we're involved in. We have Santa there, so right when you walk in, you have Santa with the step and repeat, where we have our logo behind it from a marketing standpoint. So when everybody takes a picture with Santa, then they're posting on Facebook the picture with Santa that goes with our logo behind it from a marketing side. That's one of the things we do to be able to make sure we brand ourselves correctly.
Yeah.
We have food, so we have it catered with hors d'oeuvres, so it's not a full menu, but it is still at least like an appetizer. Keep some food in their system. We bring in hookah, so we have hookah on the patio. We have ice sculptures, so we bring in ice sculptures, photo booth. We have the balloons. We have balloons set up. So there's a lot of different, the DJ. I mean, throughout the night, there's a lot of different moving parts that we have. And then sponsorships. So we have a cocktail hour for the sponsors. So before we have our clients and referral partners show up, we have sponsors that also sponsor the event, and they're able to come an hour before just to meet other businesses and be able to network.
I love
we
that.
have the networking side too. So it's about $100,000 event.
Yeah.
So it's a good return. We had about 1,500 people at our last one.
Yeah, that's crazy. So if it's in December, when do you start planning this?
We start planning that probably about 4 months in advance. That's about, from booking the artists and everything.
Yeah.
The artist booking was probably about 4 to 5 months in advance, and then everything else is pretty much easier to lock in because we've been doing it for some time now. We've been doing it in 1902. The next spot that I'm thinking of, if we don't do it in 1902 next year, will be the Tobin Center.
Oh, okay.
I like that spot.
Yeah, it's really nice in there. Mm-hmm. And it's larger, I think, right?
Yeah, because you move out all the tables and it will be an open floor plan there, so it'll be good. And then they have the upstairs. They have like a little VIP, so that'd be cool too for the sponsors.
So you still get a little bit of that nightlife experience at these things.
Yeah, I mean, even so, like I even booked the OBO after party for the Drake concert. That just got pushed to March, so that's gonna be something that I'm doing on March 14th. So there's still things that I invest in that I'm like, you know what, I'll book this, or I'll put some money on this. I did Russ last year also. I did the Russ party because he had something going on at the Majestic. Then I did an after party for him, and he did a full performance. So it just matters if I want to get involved. And I like doing events. Like there's different, like with Mike Anthony, there's a pizza festival and things like that. I invested on, I sponsored that. Yeah. There's card events, like trading cards, like basketball cards.
Oh, yeah.
So I did that event in November. So there's different things that I still kind of put our name with. Yeah, that's really cool. Out of all the 3 times that you threw that big Christmas party, I guess, which artist did most of your guests enjoy? Would you say? Or can you not say? Yeah, I don't know because they follow me. Mario really did put on a great show. Yeah. Bobby Valentino did as well. I think both of them probably outshined 112. Even though 112 is... It's 112. Yeah. Cupid is one of my... Right? Uh-huh. So it's kind of hard to say. Yeah, I think Mario, his performance and the way he drew the crowd, he put it down. Yeah. Well, I guess it all really just depends to which era they're from. Because 112 is more 90s. Mario and Bobby Valentino had a moment, but Mario's had, I think, a longer longer run.
So what I'm saying is like more people might be familiar with his music.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. This next year, our goal is either going to be the Dream or Neo. So
Dream.
yeah.
Got to do Dream. Well, Neo's good too. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you, we're going to play a game later. I was going to ask you about something like that. So aside from business and everything that you've got going on, and by the way, I just want to say thanks also for looking out for some of the most vulnerable here in San Antonio. That does just go to show that you do love this city and the people that are here. But moving on, aside from business, do you mind sharing a little bit about your dad life? You're also a dad.
I am a dad. That's funny you say dad life because I never knew my dad growing up. I met him one time when I was 7 when he came to child support court. But other than that, I don't know him.
Mm-hmm.
Yet I had a son at a young age. I had him at 20, 21 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And, there was things and dedication that I had to make, decisions I had to make that is why that I stayed in San Antonio then.
Yeah.
Because my cousin Eli was here, and Eli, he ended up managing Diddy, and he grew and has a crew league and stuff like that. And when he moved to LA, I could have made that move too, and I decided not to because of having my son Khalil. And I feel that was the biggest blessing because it kept me close to my family that was here, which in the long run was a win. Yet being able to create opportunities for him is something that is one of my passions as well. Going on a trip every year, taking him places that I didn't get to go as a kid, and even going on, having a passport and being able to take him on international trips has been something that is an experience for him. I feel that educates him on another level too. And then putting him through private school since he was in pre-K has been great because he's, we grew up Catholic. I still go to Catholic church with my grandma, yet I also go to CBC. And he's very, biblical. He knows his faith and he understands. I'm like, what do you know? But he knows the Bible better than me. And I'm like, dang, you know that? I don't even know that.
Yeah.
So he's able. It's good to see that in him, and I just got to get that hustling.
Yeah. What does he want to do? Does he want to do similar things to you?
We're still talking about it. He talked about law, so if he does law, that'd be great.
Yeah.
I know I would love for him to stay in San Antonio for college, so that's one thing I'm talking to him about.
Yeah.
Yet he's already talking about leaving, so we'll see.
That's funny. My daughter's the opposite, and I had her at a similar age. I think I was 20 when I had her. But she wants to go to college here, and I'm trying to convince her, like, go do something else because, like, go somewhere else, go see other places, go meet other people. But maybe it's because I'm a little bit further away. Once it's here, I'm going to be like, stay with me, I'm
like, St. Mary's is a great school for law. It really is.
Yeah, it really is, though, yeah.
I'm like, that's where you should go. And he's like, well, what about Rice? I'm like, nah, I heard good things about it. So,
I know. I'm like, no, I would choose St. Mary's over Rice, too. Well, that's really interesting that you were motivated by that lack of relationship that you had with your father. Were you really close with your mom?
Very close with my mother. Very close with my grandparents. So when my mom had me, she was again in the Air Force. She took me to live with my grandparents, and we lived with them till we were 8, and then we moved to Texas, and then they followed us to Texas. So she was trying to continue to get away from them to be closer to my uncle, and then probably like 4 or 5 years later, they followed. So they used to live in San Antonio. Like so she went to high school in San Antonio. They lived here before.
Okay.
And then they moved around. So, and then when she came back, they came back, and then we lived a mile from each other. So, but yeah, I was very close. I was definitely a mama's boy. So she worked very hard. So when she got out of the Air Force, she worked 2 jobs. She worked at Sure Guard and Golden Corral. She worked both of those to be able to help get through high school. And then she got diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, so she had to stop working.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you got some of your work ethic from her then, for sure.
Yeah, she was working. Because she was working so much, I would get in trouble back then because we were younger.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would create more opportunity for me to kind of do whatever.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned you went to 3 high schools. Was that because you were getting in trouble?
There was a situation that's why I went from Marshall to Lutheran back to Marshall. That is true.
Okay, well, I guess I won't put you on the spot because we don't want your son to get any ideas.
Yeah, he knows about it. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, if you want to share, go ahead. But okay, so by the time this episode airs, it'll be around Valentine's Day. So I'm going to ask you a couple of Valentine's Day questions. Do you have plans for Valentine's Day?
Not at the moment.
Okay. Do you remember the first time that you celebrated Valentine's Day? Like, what was that like? Walk me through that.
That's probably elementary, but you're talking about a real, because
No, I mean like elementary. Yeah, what did you do?
Well, you used to write all the
the cards. Yeah,
cards to everybody, and everybody would get a card, and then you would.
No, I'm talking about when you started being selective, like you were giving her a little thing of chocolates, or.
That's probably in high school, or maybe middle school. Middle school, I was more of a player, so there was a lot of girls that.
You broke their hearts. They're probably still sad about it, Scott.
Yeah.
Or they're calling you Scoot now.
Yeah, Scoot. But tell me to shut up. Yeah. I don't remember the first one that I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna go all out and do something, because I don't know, I'm just probably not that romantic as I should be.
No?
No, I could be. I choose not to be.
You choose not to be. Okay, so you don't have any plans yet. Are you currently dating anyone?
Not at the moment.
Okay. Do you want to be dating anyone?
I intend to. I think this year I might open myself up more for a relationship and see, what girl kind of fits my vibe more. I've been really just focused on work, and then I don't really put myself out there enough to be able to say, hey, I want to date this person. And then I also have high expectations.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, what is the most important thing to you in a significant other?
I think it probably comes back to their background, who they are as a person. I have to be able to relate with them, understand their vision. So there's a lot of questions and I don't like wasting time either. So going on a date, and then I'm like, you know what, I don't like this about this person or this one. And it puts me in a position where I'm like, damn, I just wasted my night. So
you're like, I could have been in bed on Friday.
I used to put together a missing persons report, because I would teach this to people on our team. Like, well, if you want to do this, you need to put a missing persons report. Or if they're dating somebody or they're with somebody and there's friction, I'm like, well, you need to write out your expectations, go over that, and see if there's things could work on it. Yet I don't take my own advice when it comes to that. So
a missing persons report?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Walk me through it.
If somebody's single and they're like, you know what, I'm looking to date. Well, what would the ideal person look like that you're looking to date? Well, I like them to be Catholic. I would like them to, understand family background, have some type of culture. They have some type of work ethic, certain things that you're looking for. Even from a personality type, like, because there's different, like we take what's called a DISC profile. There's a couple personality types we take before somebody joins our team. So there's a high D is someone that's direct. They go out, they get it. Someone that's high I is very bubbly, very talkative. Someone that's a high C is very compliant. Someone that's high S is very calm and cool. I think the C and S are kind of like the area that I like more, because I'm more the D, kind of more direct, go out and get it. And then they kind of balance on that end. The S doesn't fight with you as much. The I feel is kind of out there, and then they just talk a little bit more than I talk. So that also helps, because there's times where I don't like to talk in public, and they're very talkative. So I'm like, all right, you can talk to them while I just chill. So,
that's funny. Yeah. That's funny. Well, it's weird that you say, not weird, but straight. What's the word I'm looking for? Weird, strange, not that. I would never think you wouldn't like to talk, because you're always putting out social videos about like giving advice and stuff.
So you have to learn to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And over time, I had to be comfortable being on video to be able to put myself out there more. So even though I'm quiet, I like to be loud, and I like to be loud in certain places.
Yeah, when it calls for it. Mm-hmm. Okay, like promoting your business.
Correct.
Okay, so then we talked about what you might like in somebody. What is like an automatic turnoff? What's your ick in a girl?
Bad breath. I even got Listerine strips in my head, because I just stay with it. I don't like hygiene. So certain hygiene, if they had a little stench, I'm like, what the hell is this?
Is that? I hope that's not happening often with me.
No, it doesn't. There's times where I'm like, I just don't know. I guess just their personality, if they come off, and it's sometimes you meet somebody and you're like, yeah, this person is not. I can't be around this person longer than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So I guess it's just somebody that you have to feel like a certain vibe. So I don't know if there's. I guess probably bad breath is probably the worst.
Oh my God. Yeah, that is bad.
Yeah, because there's been times where I meet somebody, I'm like, damn. So I even tell them, I'm like, here. They're like, my breath stinks. I'm like, yeah.
You say yes.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah. I don't know what you just ate.
Not me kidding. I'm like, oh shit. Oh shit. Why do you have those out still? Are you trying to tell me something? I'm just kidding. Okay, so we're going to play some games, okay? All right, so if you're going to throw the most epic, I'm talking epic of all epic concerts here in San Antonio, who are the 3 artists that you're bringing? Anybody you want?
Anybody I want.
Mhm.
So it would be Drake. Drake would be one. If I was to go R&B, like R&B that I enjoy, it'd be Boyz II Men.
Mm-hmm.
Who would be the last? It would be. See, I brought a lot of these people. Maybe Jay-Z.
Ah. So Drake, Boyz II Men, Jay-Z.
I'm probably missing somebody that I probably would enjoy more. Maybe Chris Brown. I like Chris Brown too.
Yeah.
So
all this music that you're into, it just takes me back to like the early 2000s.
Yeah, or maybe I do The Weeknd. I like The Weeknd too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's only 3, so who are you going to kick out then?
Chris Brown's gone. So it's it'd be Drake, The Weeknd, and Boyz II Men.
Okay. I love it. There's a little something for everyone in there.
Yeah, little vibe.
Okay, so we'll do Would You Rather, Real Estate Edition, okay?
Let's get it.
Okay, so would you rather sell a home that somebody died in the attic or there's a pet cemetery in the backyard?
Pet cemetery in the backyard.
Yeah? Why?
Dying in the attic, I think that there's a little bit of a, I don't know. There's been homes where I walk and I'm like, is there a ghost in here? So that could happen. Pet cemetery in the back, the ghost could be in the backyard.
Yeah, not in the home.
Not in the home. So I would say the pet cemetery.
Yeah. Was there ever been a home that was really hard to sell? Like, for
what reason?
A
home that we sold that there was actual, like they buried a family member in the back and there was a tombstone in the back. It's on the east side on Canton Street. So if you ever see this corner home, there's an actual body buried in the backyard with the tombstone. And I'm like,
oh my gosh.
How are we going to sell this? We had to put a big discount on it.
Yeah.
Eventually somebody bought it. But yeah, that was a weird situation.
Did they have to leave it in place? Like,
yeah, the body. We couldn't.
Yeah. I'm like, you can't relocate. Yeah. I know that's a weird question, but
you gotta go. They stayed.
That's crazy. I wonder, Canton Street. What is that like?
It's on the east side.
Dignity area.
It's close to Dignity. There isn't Canton, but it's on the other side of New Braunfels.
Yeah. Okay. So, would you rather sell a home that reeks of feet or cat pee?
Feet. Cat. So I actually said this the other day to somebody with. So there's been houses where I leave and I'm like, I walk in there, I'm like, this is my cat. It's like stray cat.
Yeah.
And like you walk out, you're like, I need to take a shower. Like you automatically know you gotta take a couple showers, and then like your upper lip smells like cat. Like it's just,
from going in the home.
I'm telling you, there's houses like this, and I'm like, the hell is that? So I'm like, the guy even told me when I was talking, he's like, you didn't put Vaseline on your upper lip when you go in these. I'm like, Vaseline? What? Yeah, this is the actual thing.
What does the Vaseline do?
I guess it helps with the smell. So I was, it'd rather be the feet. Even though I'm not a feet person, I don't even like feet. Like I look at feet and I'm like, you should wear closed toes. So it's I guess it goes either way.
You're just out here judging. I'm sorry, I'm dead. They should wear closed toed. You didn't.
There is a lot of people that should wear closed toes.
Well, I have a pet peeve, and ladies, you better listen up. If you've got toenail polish that's chipping off, halfway off, like you're better off taking the whole thing off. I hate a bare toenail, but what I hate more is a chipped polished toenail.
I agree. I tell there's girls, they probably get offended. I'm like, and I look, and I'm like, they're like, what are you looking at? I'm like, nothing. They know what I'm looking at. They know what it is.
Nothing.
So, and there's times where I tell them, like, you gonna get those, especially girls on the team, and I probably shouldn't say that yet. I'm like, yeah, you should probably get those done. Like, from a professional standpoint, it'll probably look better.
Wear closed toes.
Yeah, I prefer closed toes. If they don't have nice feet. And I don't have a foot fetish. I'm just saying, like, There's just certain things
He's
that I
on
look
feet
at and
finder.
I just don't. Not a fan of.
Oh, okay. So you would rather sell the home that smells
It
like
smells
feet.
like feet because the cat thing. I'm telling you, I've walked in it and it's an odor. It's just it takes a couple of days to get that smell out of your system.
So if we walk into a home, if I was your client and I'm walking into a home with you, or it's your home that you're selling, and I walk in and I'm like, I'm ready to buy a home, but this smells like feet. How are you going to sell it to me?
We're gonna get an odor company in there and we're gonna get it fixed. So there's ways to get everything fixed. The feet thing's not that bad.
But you can't. You can't get rid of it.
We'll get rid of it. We'll repaint it. We'll ask for some concessions to be able to financially help you forget about the feet.
Okay. Forget about the
Yeah,
feet.
we'll get you a $10,000 concession from the seller to help pay for the feet smell.
Oh, that's funny. Okay. Do you have a favorite memory then of a home that you've smelled? That you've smelled? That you've sold?
There's probably the first home I sold. That was probably my favorite memory. It was a referral from Janet, who's on my team. She was living in Killeen at the time, and that family ended up in that position I talked to you about with the wholesalers. And it was right before Hotel Emma opened, and they were getting offered a certain amount of money, and we ended up selling that home for $191,000. And say that situation happened where they were able to put $80,000 in the bank, buy the house for $100,000. So that was life changing for them. And because she was moving, she grew up in that neighborhood. She knew everybody on her block, and we ended up. My mom made banana nut bread, and we were letting everybody know where she was moving to because she knew them all. So we went door to door, and I ended up selling 7 homes on that same street from people that I met because of the opportunity that was going into that area. Because these homes, they needed to be knocked down. They had that cat smell. So they really did.
Those are the ones he was putting Vaseline to walk into.
I wish I did. Yeah, they ended up selling 7 homes on that street, which became 7 buyers, which became 14 transactions off of that one deal. And then from there, it just went street after street to take over that same area.
Yeah.
It's called the ink blot method, where like when you put a pin and it spreads out, that's what you do in an area. You take over a street, then you go to the next street, then you take over that subdivision, then you go to subdivision over it. So like you said, Dignity, like I go Dignity, Denver Heights, Lavaca. On the other side is Government Hill, Tobin Hill, 5 Points. Like you hit all those areas, Beacon Hill.
Yeah.
So it's one by one by one, and then after that, you just start taking.
Yeah, it's crazy what's actually happening over there. And I hope that what we talked about a little while ago, the whole, what do you call it, wholesaling?
Wholesalers, yeah.
Is not what's going on over there.
No,
I have a feeling it is.
No, it's going on. It
Yeah.
goes on every day. Every day it goes on.
Damn.
Yeah.
People are assholes sometimes. Well, we just started a new year. You don't have any Valentine's Day plans yet, but what's your plans for 2024?
Continue to grow. So continue to grow the team. We started as small groups inside of the team. So when we look at our team and what we're looking to mimic, we shifted a little bit. So I look at different businesses, different organizations, how they're ran and how they're run. And the business that we're looking to mimic is a mega church, because how mega churches and how they're built through culture, through small groups, is something that we're running now in our organization. So we started small group chairs and co-chairs, and there's different parts of it, from faith, philanthropy, wellness, events, social. Like there's the different parts that we're running now, and that's something that we push into 2024. And then there's other businesses that I own that we're going to continue to grow. So I have part ownership in a title company. I have a media company, and then those are the two. And then I have an investment side. So growing those this year is something that I'm passionate about as well.
Cool.
And then still making sure that Khalil stays on track.
Yeah. When does he graduate?
And so he's a sophomore. So he has 3 more years, 2.5 years.
That'll go by fast.
Yeah, I know.
So you have a media company. What is this?
So that started kind of not by accident, but I guess by accident. So we would always pay for photos for all of our listings. To a place where we were starting to get a good amount of listings. We were paying our photographer about $5,000 a month. I was like, well, I'm paying $5,000 a month. I could bring somebody on full time and they can do, our photos for our listings and also do video. And then that's when we started growing that. And with that, other people started saying, hey, can you start, doing videos for this or that. So then we picked up an attorney, a personal injury attorney, and we picked up a mortgage company. And then so then from there we grew the media team to now we have 2 full-time videographers and a full-time photographer. And then there's more people that we're meeting with that are always like, hey, we're looking for this and that. So that we're actually hiring another videographer now because of the demand we have off of other things that we got.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So a man of many skills, a man of many talents. Well, I'm excited that you were able to come, but I think I've hit it all.
Thank you for having me.
Share again, though, if anybody wants to follow you, if they want to buy a home with you, where can they find you?
So on Instagram, S Malouff, also Malouff International Group, Facebook. I've been on capacity for some time yet. I think you can follow now. So it's Scott Malouff on Facebook or Malouff International Group business page or our website, MalouffIG.com.
All right. So for all your business needs and for any advice, just go follow this guy.
Cheers.
All right. Cheers. And you didn't finish your drink, so it must have been disgusting, but
I'm drinking more than she did.
Yeah, that's true. Mine's more sugar though, but yeah. Thanks, Scott. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. Appreciate it.